Is that you, Kiss Army, crawling up my stairs? Well, I tell you what, why don't we go on an Odyssey in today's rock show?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, there you go. Welcome, Kiss Army, to episode 107 of the Kiss Army Things podcast. We're going to be continuing our Kiss tribute summer, except today we're going to inverse it. So all summer we've been talking about all the times that bands and artists have covered Kiss's music and Kiss's songs. Well, today we're going to be talking about all the songs that Kiss played that were actually covers or rewrites of other artists. I think it's going to be a really fun episode.
Yeah.
This is one I've wanted to do for a while, and it actually kind of fits in with our theme this summer.
It really does. It's like you said, like an inverse or just a twist on what we've been doing. So I'm excited.
So we started out, I think, reviewing Kiss My Ass for the 35th anniversary or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also created our own Dream Kiss tribute albums.
Yes, that was so much fun.
That was a lot of fun. And then we also ended up looking at things like An Ancient Door, I think Classic 78, and Hey See Dixie.
Yes.
Some random Kiss tribute albums.
Yeah.
And so it's been, like I said, a Kiss tribute summer. And so today we're going to be looking at a different way of looking at it. We're going to invert it and look at some of the songs that Kiss has done that are actually covers. And I tell you what, I hope everybody's enjoying their summer. I know I am. And I am so happy to be cracking open an ice-cold Gene Simmons money bag soda. Daphne, what are you rocking with?
Well, I feel bad because today I don't have anything Kiss-related on my drink. We're just supporting a local coffee shop, and I have a delicious iced chai latte that it tastes exactly like fall, and I love it.
Well, I tell you what, I think I can help you out because when Jeb and I went to the Kiss Coffee House, we ended up buying one of the Rockachinos, a soft drink, and all that, and it actually came with a little sleeve.
Yes.
So slide that on there. I want to see how well it fits.
Let's see. Like a glove.
It's perfect. Kiss Coffee House. You're drinking coffee, so it's actually
perfect. It
actually works really well. So here, I'll cheers to that.
Yep.
Boom.
That's so good.
Okay, well, like we said, we're going to be doing a Kiss tribute summer. We're looking at all the songs that Kiss has covered over the years. And so no reason for a traditional spotlight, I don't think.
Right, because this is kind of our spotlight. Our spotlight is all of these songs plus all of the original versions of those songs.
Exactly,
we'll get
yes.
into.
We're going to be talking about the originals and comparing them with Kiss's version. So follow along and tell us which version you guys prefer.
Yes.
Do you prefer the original or do you prefer Kiss's version? But yeah, let's go ahead and get started because like I said, 15 songs I think we have, and so it's going to be a while. So let's go ahead and get started with, of course, the first one that Kiss covered on their very first album. That was Kissin Time.
Right.
Now this, as we all know, was not on the original album. It was put on subsequently once the sales, weren't really doing too well.
Right.
Neil ordered them back in the studio, said, re-record this. We're going to release it as a single, maybe get some traction. But before we get into that, I want to know your thoughts on the original version by Bobby Rydell versus Kiss's cover in 74.
Yeah, the original is super fun. We literally just re-listened to it right before we came in here.
It was the last song we listened to.
Yeah, and we were just kind of jamming. It's so late 50s, early 60s. Just makes you want to do the twist,
Yeah, it's that bop.
Yeah, it reminds me of like Grease or something like that, like the late 50s kind of thing. It's super fun. Obviously, it's different than Kiss's version. There's a little more rock and roll, but also still very different than the rest of the album, for sure. But they've changed the lyrics. Some of the lyrics are different on the Kiss version, which is going to be a theme throughout this list that happens more than once, more than twice, I think.
Oh, yeah. I can think of at least 3 right now.
Yeah, it happens a few times.
Yep.
So that's
4.
That's always cool to see, like a cover that is completely reinvented.
Yeah, I think some of the lyrics in Bobby's just weren't going to fit Kiss's style.
No.
They were more 50s and...
Yeah, well, and even some, I can't remember any of them.
Teeny bop lyrics.
Yes, and they were already dated, I feel like. Even though it's not like a huge time span in between, everything he was saying already just feels so early 60s at best.
And maybe there is data or info on this, but I wonder why Neil chose that song in particular. It was a big hit for Bobby Rydell.
Yeah.
And Neil was always, he had a really good, mind for pop. So, that song maybe meant something to him, but I wonder why it was that, well, I guess Kissin Time.
I was about to say, I wonder if there's any connection of it just having Kiss in the
Kiss
title.
In the name, and it being a big hit. Let's just...
And also, it's the kind of song, like you said, it is kind of a teeny bopper kind of song that, like, could appeal to maybe, like, teenage girls, and specifically teenage girls all across America, because all of these different locations are mentioned. And in fact, this song reminds me very much, I always think this every time I hear Kiss's version, it reminds me of Surfin' USA by the Beach Boys.
Okay,
Which probably came out, or definitely came out after the Bobby Rydell one, so it makes me, in retrospect, knowing that, it makes me wonder if the Beach Boys one was inspired by that one, because I mean, some of it even sounds really similar, but also it's just the same concept. The only thing that's changed is they're a surf rock band, so they've added surfing references.
In the USA. It's like Kissin Time.
But it's still, they're still talking about girls from different states and like what they love about girls all across America. You know what I mean? So it's like such a similar idea that I always get Beach Boys
Maybe it was
vibes.
a trend back then and it became like a thing. But yeah, no, I mean, Kiss's version kind of fits right in with that, maybe.
Yeah.
Right there. But no, for Bobby, it was a number 11 hit. It was his first ever top 20 hit. And I think he was like 17.
Yeah. Whoa, okay. I didn't know that.
He was like a teen pop sensation at that time because of this song. And what I find interesting is that the song wasn't even written by Bobby.
Okay.
The song was written by Bernie Lowe and Cal Mann, these two random songwriters. So just in case we think it's a modern thing for pop artists to not write their own songs, there's been ghostwriters for decades and decades
that's literally
and decades.
Always been a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Always.
It's always been a thing. So in case we're thinking that it's some kind of new thing, no. I mean, here you have, Bernie and Cal writing a song for a 17-year-old kid. Get on stage and sing this song and see if we can get a hit. And boom, it's his first top 20 hit. So yeah, it's kind of funny how that thing, like, there's always been a system for pop music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever since the 50s. And
I was going to say, like, even Elvis is singing songs written by other people and covers. Like, most of his big hits are covers.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. And we only know them as Elvis songs because he made them famous. Yeah, you're right. But what's cool about this is that we're talking about Kiss covers and all that and Kiss tributes. But Bobby would actually cover his own song a few years later. In '63, he re-recorded a new version of Kissin Time, but it was released in Australia. Okay. And it was for Australia only. So he took out all the U.S. cities. Rewritten? Yes. And,
I gotta listen to that.
So, Kissin in Sydney, Perth and Brisbane too.
That's hilarious.
He changed out all the lyrics from the U.S. cities and put in Australia and just re-released it for a different country.
I love that. That's hilarious.
So it's pretty interesting that he covered his own song. But anyway, yes, as we all know, Kiss would cover this on their first album. And contrary to what historians want to tell you, this actually did more for the album than anything else had done at that point in time.
So it kind of worked.
Of the 3 singles that were released for the first album, you had Strutter, you had, the first one was Nothing to Lose, and then you had Kissin Time, and then Strutter was the third one. Okay. The only one that charted was this song.
Interesting.
The album itself hadn't charted, none of the singles charted. Yeah. But when this was released, it became number 83 on the chart. So not the highest, but hey, you're in the top 100. Yeah. And going from not being in the top 100 to being in the top 100, it's like, that was the only success that they saw from this album initially was this single. So in retrospect, Neil did make the right call.
Yeah, I think so. I guess maybe it's just because it's poppier and it's more like you wouldn't even know that it's Kiss just listening to it like at the time. Like if you look at photos of Kiss and then hear that song, you're not going to probably think it's the same band.
Maybe not. I don't know. For sure. I don't know. I would like to have listened to the album when it first came out in 74 and then bought the reissue and was like, wait, what? There's a new song? A bonus track? And then kind of wondered because to me, at this point, Kissin Time just belongs on the album. Yeah. To me, Kissin Time is as much part of it. To me, the one that stands out besides Love Thief from Kiss is actually Let Me Know.
Okay, yes, no, I agree with that. I love Let Me Know.
Firehouse and Cold Gin and Strutter feel like the Kiss sound. Yeah. Let Me Know feels like it was left over from Wicked Lester / just not quite as, even though it's my favorite song on the album to listen to.
Yeah, it's great.
I can hear any other songs anywhere else.
It's
Black
a great
Diamond,
song.
Kiss Alive, Strutter, Kiss Alive, but I can only hear Let Me Know on the first album, so I like Let Me Know.
But there is an obvious difference.
Stands out.
Yeah, there is an obvious difference.
But Kissin Time to me doesn't stand out as much. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. But to me, Kissin Time is pretty freaking heavy. Like Peter's drum beats on that, and he's doing like the ride cymbals and he's using the toms. It's very like if you're a drummer listening to that, you're like, how is he doing that? Or why is he doing that? Like it's so good. And then you got of course the 3 vocalists going back and forth.
Yeah,
Peter's raspy vocals. Gene's, vocals. So it's to me, it's a very rocking song. But I want to hear it from somebody else's opinion because I've heard this song, this song sucks. Should have been on the album. What a terrible cover. And I'm like, well, how off are my ears?
Yeah.
Because I like it. You know what I mean?
I do too.
I don't know, though.
I do too, and I feel like it's definitely grown on me throughout the years. I feel like I never hated it, but it's just one I didn't really go to and would probably skip. But I definitely don't now. I love it. And I know we were going to try and kind of decide song by song whether we like the original or the cover better.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Kiss's version.
Yeah.
And it literally is because the 3 vocalists.
I think I might
Peter's drum track on that is just absolutely balls to the wall. Wish I could say more about it, but it's just the drum beats that he's playing, going from the hi-hat to the ride, also using snare and tom. It's next level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So... but I gotta say, I love Bobby's version.
I know. This one is close. This one is hard for me.
I love that version because, again, you said it puts you in that Elvis, Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry kind of era, that 50s throwback rock and roll era. It has the clapping,
Yep.
It has that kind of thing going on. So it is fun to listen to in that way. And it's funny to me how music isn't even made like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like nobody would ever think to write a song and record a song like that anymore.
Right.
And nowadays you see, like when Greta Van Fleet records, just a very basic, just simple drum and guitar rock song. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, oh, it sounds like this. It's like, well, that's just how they did it.
Right.
Like Rock and Roll Over, it's got that warm rock sound, you know what I mean? But bands just don't write like that. Modern rock bands have their own way of writing. Mm-hmm. So it's funny when you start looking at them by era, you can just see the style and see the song structures and all that, the tempos.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
So that one's cool, though.
Yeah.
That one I think is the oldest song on our list.
It has to be, yeah.
I think.
And this one definitely was close for me, but I think partially it's the 3 vocalists, like you said.
It's so unique.
That adds so much to it. Like, they have their own little section, and all of their voices suit the song so well. I'm gonna lean towards Kiss, but the Bobby Rydell one is definitely close behind.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny how many Kiss albums have covers on them. A lot of them do.
A lot of them.
We'll
this
see
list
that.
was longer than I thought it was going to be.
But we actually, going from the first album, we don't have one until Destroyer. So the next one that we have,
Pretty
and if I'm missing one, please be nice. But also let me know, because I would love to, revisit that and check up on that. But I tried to get as many as I could that I could think of that were covers. So if I missed one, please let me know. But the next one I think of is King of the Nighttime World.
Okay.
Off of Destroyer.
Yes.
Now this one I had no idea was even a cover.
Me neither until you
told me. For the longest time. Pretty sure maybe within the last 5-10 years. I was like, wait a minute, this is a cover?
I didn't know until the other day when you told
really?
me.
For sure, okay.
At least if I did, it's something I had forgotten completely. I was like, really?
Yeah, well, and there's a bit of a mystery with this, and I was able to do as much research as I could, but I still feel like I'm missing something.
Okay.
Because the song was recorded and written by a band in '74 called the Hollywood Stars.
Yes.
Very, very short-lived Los Angeles band, very obscure. This album was either on a limited release in '77 or was never released at all until 2013. Again, it's just depending on what you read online.
Right.
But this is considered to be a lost album.
Interesting.
And did not get an official regular release until 2013. But I heard, also read where there was releases of this album in '77.
It must have just been super limited.
That still doesn't explain how Paul heard this and recorded it in '76.
So true.
If it was recorded in '74, so I think Kim Fowley is the name that's included on the co-write with this. You got Bob Ezrin and Paul Stanley, but there's also Kim Fowley, who is from the Hollywood Stars. And so I don't know if Paul and Kim were friends, or if Paul just somehow had heard this song because it was being maybe sent to other artists. And I don't know.
Maybe.
It's one of those things, I have no idea. But the versions are kind of comparable. I mean, Kiss definitely changed it musically, adding in the snare rolls are what's different, the cymbals and all that. But for the most part, it's kind of the same. Kiss's is a little bit faster, I think, too.
Yeah, it's a lot more similar than I thought it would be.
But I'm just wondering how Paul would have heard this song and said, "Oh, I like that." Maybe it was Ezrin. Maybe Ezrin, being the producer, had said, "Hey, you know what? I might try to give this song to Kiss, see what Paul thinks." Or maybe he brought it in. I don't know how it was brought in.
And it may have been one of those songs that was just out there in the way that we'll get to Hide Your Heart later on. Or were we just talking about that? It's not a cover, but We were talking about
how Hide Your Heart.
In preparation for this is what I mean. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But kind of like that, how it was out there and other artists, like...
Paul wrote it and kind of, like, sent it out there.
And a bunch of different artists covered it before Kiss even put it out.
Yeah.
So maybe it was kind of like that, where the song was made available for purchase, I guess. Yep. I don't know how the music industry works or how it worked back then, but
it's interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting. So, I mean, not really much else to say about it other than, personally, I think Kiss's version is better.
Yeah.
It just feels stronger.
Agreed.
Not that the Hollywood Stars wasn't a bad version, but I think, Kiss using it as track 2 on Destroyer and using it, you hear the car crash of Detroit Rock City leading into this song, the opening bend, that wail on the guitar, just the amplifier feedback. It's so Kiss.
Yeah.
King of the Nighttime World. It's so Kiss.
It's so good. When we were listening, we listened to him back to back the other night, and what was the band called again?
The Hollywood Stars.
Hollywood Stars. We listened to their version first, and I was like, okay, it's not that different. It's pretty good. And then we listened to Kiss's, and I was like, Paul Stanley's voice just elevates it so much, though.
And Bob Ezrin's production.
100%. Yeah.
It was good.
It's a good song, and it was, well done the first time, but Kiss's recording of it definitely takes the cake.
Yeah. Now here's a fun one, because we're talking about Bobby Rydell and his throwback hit from the 50s. Well, now we're going to go to the 60s with this one, because the next one, no cover on Rock and Roll Over that I know of. No covers on Rock and Roll Over. But on Love Gun, the closing track was Then She Kissed Me.
Yes.
And this was, of course, recorded by the Crystals in 1963, but it was called Then He Kissed Me.
Because it was a Motown girl group. Yeah.
Bingo. Yeah, so this was, kind of flip-flopped, gender swapped. But I don't know why Kiss did this. I don't recall finding any, information as to how this was brought in, how it was introduced, why Paul or whoever, Eddie Kramer, whoever, made it the last song of the album.
A Motown cover. So random.
Well, Paul, I guess Paul is an R&B, kind of guy.
We know even more now with Soul Station how much he loves that kind of music.
Temptations and all that. So maybe it was just one of the songs that they liked and thought, why don't we do it?
Rock and rollify this a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know. It does seem kind of random, though, I will admit, because it's not one of the best Kiss covers. But it's fine. I've
always liked it.
I like it. Well, you and I kind of have kind of a personal history with it. You know? But it's a great song.
Yeah, it's a good song. I think in this case I might be tied for. I don't think I can decide which one I like better, because the Crystals one is so good.
It really is.
It's so good. Their voices are incredible. It's a perfect classic Motown song.
Yeah,
but I do like the Kiss version as well.
I've clearly heard Kiss's version more, but listening to them, they're both pretty comparable. You know what I mean? They're both nice, sweet songs.
It's just a cute song.
They're very sweet.
It's just a cute, wholesome
very
song.
Wholesome song. It's kind of different from what you get from Kiss.
Yeah.
Where it's like, she says stop, baby, go, go, go. I just hate when the girl says wait.
Right, and now
this is more along the lines of
bring him home to me, mom and dad.
Love her all I can. And anything for my baby. It's more of a sweet,
more of a wholesome romantic.
Yeah.
Gotta throw a couple in there for the ladies.
But still, what a really weird way to end Love Gun.
Yeah, it really is.
Because
closing track.
Love Gun is a great album, but man, there are some songs on there, like Hooligan isn't that strong, and this one is kind of, it's fine, but the closer, you open with I Stole Your Love,
and
your end, I think Almost Human. I think Almost Human would have been
a better closer. I like that.
Just because, I don't know. Anyway, this was one more song that was actually written by ghostwriters too. So you had Phil Spector, Ellie Greenwich, and Jeff Barry wrote this.
Gotcha.
For the Crystals. Back in '63, so I think that one would have been the second earliest track, or second oldest track on this list, with this next one being the third one. So, the very next album, Alive 2, we of course get 4 or 5 studio tracks on side 4, and one of them just happens to be a Dave Clark 5 cover of Any Way You Want It.
Yes.
Which, this one always threw me through a loop, because when I first heard Kiss Alive 2, it was because of the Kiss Alive box set. I never actually owned a copy of just Kiss Alive 2. I had to buy Kiss Alive, Alive 2, Alive 3, and the Millennium Concert all in one. And I was confused with side 4, because even on Spotify, I'm pretty sure it says Any Way You Want It live at the Forum.
It says that?
I'm pretty sure all the files on Kiss Alive 2 say live at the Forum, 1976, 77, whatever it was. And even those tracks, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Because I'm in I'm like 12 years old, confused. And it sounds like they're playing live, but there's no crowd.
Right.
You know? So these songs, I think, were recorded either in the studio just real quick, or they were recorded during sound check or something like that. But they're not...
They don't sound
They're not
live,
the most
though.
professional.
Yeah.
They sound like glorified demos, which
right.
I like. That gives them... Because Rocket Ride, Larger Than Life, All American Man, those are some killer songs. But this one always just seemed really random.
It is.
And I didn't know that it was a cover at the time. So I'm thinking, well, what is this song that Kiss wrote called Any Way You Want It? It was trying to beat Journey, or, you know, like, what is this?
Yeah.
But come to find out that it was a cover. Again, maybe 10 years ago, I found out that it was a cover.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because you mentioned Journey, and I always thought about that too, but finding out that it's a cover of an older song, you're like, oh, the Journey song is probably heavily inspired by this song, because it's like the same title, it's a very similar concept, similar lyrics in the chorus.
Yep.
So yeah, it was flopped of what we originally thought.
Yeah, and this one was released in 65. Mm-hmm. So this one, like I said, was the third oldest song we have on our list. The Crystals was 63, this is 65. It was a hit, number 25 on the UK singles chart, and number 14 in the US.
Nice.
Was that, maybe that was Dave Clark. I don't think Kiss had a hit with this. I think it was Dave Clark had the hit.
I think that makes more sense.
I think Dave Clark had the hit
yeah,
here. It was,
that makes sense.
25 on the UK singles chart and 14 in the US. But what struck me as interesting was finding out that only Paul Stanley and Peter Criss appear on this song.
Really? I did not know that.
Paul does all the vocals, all the guitars, and all the bass, guitar, and Peter plays the drums.
Okay. Wow.
That's it.
That's
it's just
so
a
random.
Paul and Peter song, which is kind of crazy because you really don't. I guess you really don't hear Gene or anybody else in the chorus. It's Paul doing both foreground and background vocals.
Yep. It's his layered vocals. You're right.
Wow.
That's so interesting. I wonder why. I wish there was a story somewhere.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's more info, but that's what we're going to need the Kiss Army to help us out here because we're kind of comparing because both of these versions have a lot of reverb.
Yes.
That was like the big thing for the Dave Clark 5 and 65. Hearing that much reverb, I guess, was like very off-putting and very out there.
Still kind of too much.
It's kind of out there. Now, it worked for Kiss with the echo on the reverb on Kisses, but even here in the Dave Clark 5, it's like
it's
very in
echoey.
your face.
Yeah,
very in your face. But still really cool. So, I don't know, between these two, what do you think? Which one's better? Which one's... I'm going to say Kiss because I like Paul's voice better, but that's just me being biased.
Right,
so,
and I feel like there's no way to choose without being biased.
There really isn't any distinction between the songs. You know, like Kiss didn't rewrite it.
No.
There wasn't anything transcendent about it.
The style is not that different. It was basically
the same thing with Paul's vocals.
It might be about equal.
About equal.
Honestly.
I might just give Paul the head.
But I'd prefer to listen to the Paul one because like you said, I feel like the reverb is more tasteful and also works better on the Kiss one, whereas it's just a little off-putting on the Dave Clark 5 one.
Right. A little bit.
Yeah, I don't know though. Roughly equal. I don't think you chose for Then She Kissed Me.
Yeah, I did. I said it was pretty much equal.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I said it was pretty much equal. They're both pretty comparable.
Gotcha. Okay.
But this one should be pretty easy. We're going to New York Groove. This was, of course, on Ace's solo album, but we're gonna continue. We're gonna
lump it in.
Yeah, we're gonna lump it in. We're not gonna lump in Peter Criss's solo album because I'm pretty sure like the majority
too many covers
of Peter's album was covered, so that would take like double this episode. Peter. So we're not gonna, no offense, but we're not gonna get into Peter's album. It's just gonna be Ace's and Gene's. So we're gonna look at New York Groove, which was of course written and recorded by Hello back in 1975. And guess what I found out about this song that I did not know about?
What?
This was written by Russ Ballard of Argent.
Oh.
And Argent, we're going to see come back
up later on this
list. But Russ Ballard from Argent wrote this for Hello, with Hello, I don't know, and then they released it in 75.
Interesting.
But I was like, man, that's kind of a weird connection.
Yeah, what are the odds?
Yeah, because we're going to see Russ Ballard and Argent come back on this list later on.
Yeah.
But here we are in 75. And Russ wrote this for Argent. And it was a really big single for Hello. It was number 9 in the UK. And guess what? They recorded a version of Then She Kissed Me.
No way!
It gets even deeper than we could have ever imagined. Yes, so Hello recorded their own version of not with Kiss or whatever. It was just their own thing.
But the same kind of thing where they changed
so happened to gender swap.
Yeah. Okay.
And made it Then She Kissed Me. They also did their own version. We should listen to that.
I was gonna say, have you listened to it?
No, I didn't.
Because I would love to hear how another rock band in the 70s interprets that song.
I should have though, because I could be able to talk about it here. But no, I just
Interesting.
I
We'll
read it, thought it was crazy, and thought it was noteworthy, and wanted to mention it to everybody.
Do you know
here,
if it was before or after Kisses?
No, I don't.
Okay, I wonder who did it first.
I think theirs was before Kiss.
Okay.
I want to say theirs might have been before Kiss, but I honestly couldn't know. I'll put a little note on the screen if I can figure that out. But that just blew my mind that they happened to. So Russ Ballard from Argent wrote this song, and then they also did a version of "Then She Kissed," which Kiss did too. It was just a lot of rock and roll connections there. But like I said, huge hit for Hello, number 9 in the UK. And Ace's version would reach number 13 in the U.S. This was the highest single, of course, from any of the solo albums, singles. So really good choice for both of them. But Ace didn't even want to do it.
Really?
Ace almost refused to do it because he was like, I don't need it, don't want it. And it was Eddie Kramer.
It is a different vibe than the rest of the album, for
sure. It was
sure.
Eddie Kramer that said, you should heavily consider this.
Yeah.
You're going to need a hit song to help put you out there. And now Ace always does one cover on every single one of his albums.
That's so true.
It's become a thing. But at first he was, which I get it, it's fine, your mind's changed. But at first he was like, no, I don't want this song by Hello, New York Groove.
That's so interesting.
On my
I wonder if that hadn't gone well, if he probably wouldn't have continued doing covers. It's like that proved to him that was right.
Yeah, and I don't think Ace's album would have done near as well as it would have.
Yeah.
Just because. But, it was the right move to do. Eddie Kramer had the right move.
Yeah.
And what I liked about it was, because I had never heard, I always knew the history behind the song. It wasn't a Kiss song. It was written by Hello in 75, blah, 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 blah. But I had never actually just sat and listened to Hello's original version.
Yeah.
And what I found very interesting was the drums, the production on the drums on both versions are very similar.
Really? Okay.
Just very simple, punchy, bah, bah, bah. But the way that Eddie produced it sounds very comparable to the original version. And it's funny because I'm not that old, 75, 78.
No.
It's only a 3-year difference. So
interesting.
But it worked. I think that's why it worked, because it was still a big hit from Hello that, here Kiss is playing it or Ace is playing it. It just worked.
This
I don't know.
is such an interesting conversation because it's not that artists don't cover songs anymore, but they don't in this way. Like, I can't imagine a modern artist putting out as a single a cover of a song that came out just a few years before. That would be so weird.
Well, I wonder if it's because they were a UK band and Kiss was US.
Maybe.
And back in the day, it was hard, because nowadays, internet, everything goes global immediately.
Yeah.
But back then, it was still a little different. So maybe in 3 years' time, it kind of, I don't know. You're right. It is a weird thing to talk about.
It's just interesting how things change over time. And like you said, I think the internet is a big part of that. But I just didn't realize how short of a time span there was in between those two releases.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, it's funny when you talk about it. But between these two versions, I think Ace's is the better
Ace
version.
One is fantastic.
Not that the Hello version wasn't. It's just that I think Ace's version sounds better.
Yeah.
It's a lot better. So move on now to number 6 on this list. When You Wish Upon a Star. We're going to Gene's solo album now. So the cover, Gene actually had 2 covers on his solo album. But one was a Kiss one, which I guess we could have kind of talked about. So he covered "See You in Your Dreams" from Rock and Roll Over.
Yes.
But it's a no-brainer that the Rock and Roll Over one's better. I don't know. I don't know why Gene re-recorded it. He said he didn't like the original version on Rock and Roll Over and wanted to re-record it, but then said he didn't like his version on that album either. So why he did that, I don't know.
Yeah,
but anyway,
we're not counting that.
The big cover on Gene's solo album was, I think, The Closer. Was it the album Closer?
Maybe.
My mind's double check, because if so, that is ballsy. But yeah, it's the album Closer. So Gene closed his album with "When You Wish Upon a Star."
So we open with "Radioactive," right?
Right.
And then we end with "When You Wish Upon a Star."
Yeah, and
Jiminy Cricket.
Jiminy Cricket, baby. As we all know, this was written for the Pinocchio movie back in 1940.
With this scary demon
With this scary
spitting blood
demon
on the front.
cover.
The juxtaposition of that is so funny to me.
Yeah, so this is widely considered to be the signature song of Walt Disney Company. I didn't really realize that.
When You Wish Upon,
This is the defining song for the company.
Yeah. This is the song that, at the beginning of every Disney movie when they have the castle, the shooting star, this is the song that's playing.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, because the Library of Congress actually added it into their liebary, I think in 09 or something like that. So, it's in the National Registry of Recording or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it must be a pretty big song. Gene, it's funny because I get why it's on the album. it just doesn't sound good on the album.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
His reasoning, it's like, okay, it's sentimental and I understand that, but...
Yeah, but when you hear it, it's like he's literally
what?
singing like Jiminy Cricket, and he's using almost like... It'd be different if it was... Like, maybe if the music had been re-recorded in a more darker tone.
Yes.
And maybe Gene, like, took it, differently musically and made it bigger. But he did a one-for-one copy.
Yeah, or even just, like, if you still want to make it, like... I don't know. I still feel like he could have made it, like, acoustic or something. Like a...
Right, yeah.
And, like, to where it still has, like a good...
Tonight.
It still has a tie to rock and roll, like, with an acoustic guitar or piano or something like that, or both. But it still has, like, the dreamy orchestral, like
Bambi
old school Disney.
In a meadow. It's like, what's going on? Yes, it sounds like Bambi in a meadow.
So bizarre.
And I'm like, man, like... I don't know. I feel bad talking bad about it because, like I said, I understand why Gene put it on there because it means a lot to him.
It does,
and he felt like Jiminy Cricket was speaking to him, like
And the lyrics, yeah, I get it.
It
Absolutely.
makes perfect sense. That's Kiss's literal thing. When you wish upon a star, your dreams can come. So it makes perfect sense. But when you hear it, it's like, boy, is this a little weird.
Yeah.
And then the album ends.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna go with Jiminy Cricket on this
Cricket
one.
smokes on this one. Jiminy Cricket smokes.
Sorry,
man.
Gene.
Yeah, no, I gotta agree. But we're gonna move on as quickly as possible now to 2000 Man from Dynasty. So this one I knew was a cover.
Yeah.
When Ace talked about it on Unplugged, which by the way, today we're filming on August 9th. Kiss Unplugged was recorded today.
Oh, nice.
So the original four were playing 2000 Man for the first time.
That's awesome.
In ages,
I love that.
for the first time. So that's really cool. But anyway, again, Ace, better version.
Yeah.
I don't like the Rolling Stones. I don't like their version of this song.
I'm going to be so honest, I don't either. I never have.
I feel bad.
They have... a couple.
I
was gonna say a handful, but I don't even think a handful. Maybe like 2 songs that I'm okay with.
It's only rock and roll,
but
there's just a lot of Stones I don't really care for.
No, I've never vibed with it. I've never vibed with mixed voice. And I really do think the Kiss version is significantly better.
Yeah, it really is. And we talked about this on our Dynasty episode before, but literally the vocals, the lead guitar, the rhythm guitar, and bass was all done by Ace.
Yeah.
Ace is the only member of Kiss that appears on this album, or on this song. It's Anton Fig on drums and Ace. It's literally Ace's solo. It's an Ace solo song carried over pretty much. Yeah. That could have been a cover on a solo album.
I know we've discussed this before, so I'm sorry that I don't remember, but did he change some of the lyrics as well? I feel like there's something different about it.
There were a couple minor lyrical changes, nothing too major, but yes, there were some.
Yeah, I just feel like there's something about the Stones one that's like darker and like sadder.
I call it cheery but eerie.
Yes, eerie is a good word for it.
It has it's almost like Sound of Silence.
Yes.
Where it's like, Disturbs is very like, dramatic.
Right.
But the original one is very like, it's like cheery but eerie. That's how I think of it.
It's still like slow and like, it's not really cheery. But I understand what you're saying. Compared to like
it has
that
a happier
dark
tone to it.
I guess, yeah.
And this one kind of has a happier upbeat, but it is more sad, more eerie, more dark. Whereas, I don't know, I mean, Kisses, I guess, is 2, but it feels more Dynasty, more disco, more poppy, more upbeat fun.
Right.
It's
not as off. There's something off-putting, I would say, about that.
The Rolling Stones.
And that might have been the goal, and that's fine. And like,
yeah, totally.
That's your choice. That's rock and roll, whatever.
Yeah, if you like the Stones, good for you.
But I am gonna vote for the Ace.
Yeah,
this one.
Voting for Ace and Anton all the way. But now we're going to talk about Is That You? Because I made a reference to this in the beginning of the episode. Is That You, Kiss Army crawling up my stairs? But no, this one is a really fun one because it opens up Unmasked. Mm-hmm. And Unmasked is a great album, but I had no idea for years, again, that this was a cover.
That it opens with a cover.
They opened it with a
opener,
cover.
Though.
It is a great opener. It's a perfect
so
opener for Unmasked. I could not imagine any other song opening Unmasked. Just the ow!
Yeah.
And then just right into the song.
I love Unmasked.
But this was written by Gerard McMahon.
Okay.
And actually demoed by him. And I had never heard the demo until we heard it. Until we listened to it. Because I knew, again, eventually I found out it was a cover. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Okay, Gerard McMahon. And then, before this episode, we actually heard it. And I was like, this actually sounds really, really good.
Yeah, it was good.
Like, it was a demo, so it wasn't fully polished. But his version was there.
Yeah, it was there.
Like, Kiss just took that demo and then just made it Kiss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't really do anything. I mean, there were some like small lyrical changes and some musical like condensed it a little bit, removed some sections in between verses.
Yeah,
and
there
lines.
was some more.
There was more space in the original.
That was interesting.
Which again, it's fine. It's a demo.
Yeah.
It made it a little bit longer, but no, his vocals in that original one, Gerard's fantastic.
Yeah, and he does all the same little things that Paul ends up doing with his voice.
And I almost prefer him just along with Paul because it sounds great.
It is
fantastic.
fantastic.
Like, obviously, Kisses is the better version. It's more polished. It's more thorough. But, like, I really enjoyed hearing that demo.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't heard that demo for Is That You?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Check it out. It's on YouTube.
Yep.
You can check it out. But I loved his vocals. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. And this one's interesting because, like, it is a cover, but it also isn't because
Yeah, it was never officially
released before.
But it was written and demoed by somebody else. Yeah. So I guess it's just an official...
Yeah.
An official version.
I was going to say, cover can get blurry, the lines of that. So absolutely. I don't know what you technically consider, but there is a demo, and you definitely should check it out. This one, like you said, as far as, for the most part, it's pretty equal, but just because it's more polished and cleaned up and perfected, I am going to lean towards the Kiss one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, agreed. Now, here's another fun one, though, because you and I both love The Elder.
Oh, of course.
And Odyssey is the one song on this album that is a cover.
Yes.
Which kind of blows my mind.
Oh, 100%.
Because I think...
It fits so perfectly.
I think this one I did find out was a cover back in high school.
Okay.
Which it still blew my mind because this song just seemingly fits so well on the album.
I know.
On The Elder.
I know.
And so when you find out it's like it's a different artist, that wrote it for a different context.
Project, yeah.
It's like, wow, how crazy is that it just kind of perfectly...
It almost feels like the concept of The Elder was built around that song.
Right, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Because it does fit so perfectly.
It's great, but this was written by Tony Powers.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if this was written by him in 81 or not, but I did a small deep dive, and we did a quick deep dive on, that's a oxymoron, a quick deep dive.
Quick deep dive.
But we did a little bit of research on Tony Powers, and it turns out that he had done what he called, what was it, like a music film?
Music film,
called a music film.
Yeah.
He had like 3 music videos.
It's almost like a short film. A
short film built out of music videos.
Yes.
Made of songs.
Made of songs that were specifically for that project.
That project, yeah.
It was very interesting concept.
It was a very interesting concept. And one of those songs was Odyssey.
Yeah.
And
we watched it. We watched the video for it.
And it was
good. So cool.
It was.
Yeah,
it was really great. I love the lyrics to that song. They're so awesome.
Yeah.
We are notes in the music, searching for remembered rhyme. It's like that just... It's good stuff.
It's so good. It's such a well-written song. And it was cool to see the video and learn more about the backstory because it's very artsy and just different, especially for the time. Like, nobody was doing anything like that, I feel like.
Right. Yeah, this was definitely unique.
Yeah, it was like kind of trippy and kind of weird, but cool.
Yeah.
I really liked seeing that and hearing.
Again,
I think I had heard maybe the original before, but I had not seen that.
Really?
I had not seen that visual before. That was neat.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, between the two of them, I'm going to go with Kiss, I guess.
Yeah, still Kiss. I mean, it's closer this time than some of the other ones, but you cannot beat.
It was, yeah, and I think Paul has been very, self-conscious about his vocals, or been very critical of his vocals on this song and the album. But I thought it was great, because he had never really done that before.
Yeah.
The falsetto and...
That's so interesting that he's self-conscious about it, because I absolutely adore it. It
took so many takes. This and Just a Boy, he was not very fond of. Recording them, listening to them.
Yeah, doing the falsettos.
But doing what he did, I think it's
gorgeous.
He nailed it.
I love it.
Again, the song lyrically is beautiful. Yeah. You and I and Winged Flight. There are so many moments where you're just like...
poetic.
Where it kind of almost makes sense that it's not written by Kiss, because you're like, wow, that's,
right. It's like an epic poem.
It is an epic poem.
Yeah, I love it. Great song.
I love it.
Great song, and obviously all props to, what's his name?
Tony Powers.
To Tony Powers for writing that and doing such a cool project.
Again, though, I have no idea how Kiss got a hold of it and how Kiss... again, maybe it was Ezrin.
Yeah, and at what point into working on The Elder did that come into play? That would be interesting to know. If anybody does have insight, let us know.
Absolutely. This is a really cool one because on Creatures, you have Rock and Roll Hell.
Yes.
And Rock and Roll Hell is honestly one of my favorite songs on the album. And it was a long time before I realized that it was a cover, and it was even longer when I realized that it was Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Yes.
which, great band.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. But this song is probably, at least so far, the most different.
So
the
different.
original version for this, I think, and Kiss's version are the most far removed of covers, because literally the only thing that Kiss took from the original was the words, "Take me out of this rock and roll hell," or "Get me out of this rock and roll hell, take me far away."
Yeah.
You know, it was like that lyric, and that was pretty much it.
Just the chorus.
Even, not just the verses, but even the musically.
Sounds so different.
The themes of the song.
Yeah.
Completely
That's what
different.
shocked me. So I had, first of all, I'm not sure if I knew that this was a cover. If I did not remember.
Uh-huh.
And I certainly had not heard the Bachman-Turner Overdrive version until last night when you showed me.
Right.
And it is so good.
It kicks ass.
It
does.
Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the Kiss version.
Kiss's version is goated.
But
this version, man.
It was fantastic, and like you said, the lyrics are completely different. The concept is completely different.
Yeah.
The BTO one is actually quite dark and quite sad.
Very depressing.
It's a very sad song, even though it, like, you know, is rock and roll and it's upbeat and everything, and, you know, it's a banger.
Yeah.
But it is a lot sadder lyrically. It's basically talking about, like, having made it to the top. Actually, we had a conversation about this.
Yeah.
The Kiss version is kind of more inspirational about somebody who's, like, really trying to make it
on the verge of
like on the
making it big.
Yes, in the rock and roll world, and he's like, I'm so close.
I'm stuck in this rock and roll hell.
Exactly, like I need to get to the next level, basically.
Yeah.
And it's more like aspirational, like inspirational. Whereas the BTO version is about somebody who is at the top. And turns out it's still hell.
It's the same. Yeah.
It's still hell. And they're, like, you know, hopped up on all kinds of drugs and alcohol, and they're miserable.
Yeah.
Like, I think he literally says he wants to die at one point.
Yeah, he said, if this is the top, then I want out. Because sometimes I think I'm better off dead.
Yeah, it's sad.
You know, take me far away.
Yeah.
Get me out of this rock and roll hell. And it's really sad, because the song is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But once you focus on the lyrics, it really changes it for you.
Yes, it does.
It's kind of like Last Resort by Papa Roach. Love that song, but those lyrics make you not want to listen to the song at all because it's so real. You know what I mean? But Kiss's version is different because, it's talking about it from the opposite side. It's almost like rock and roll purgatory.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're stuck in this in-between, this middle ground, as Chris maybe would say. You're in this middle ground where it's like you're on... What's it say? He said he won't stand for second place. Mm-hmm. You know, he thinks it's his destiny. Like, you're right there. Might even steal a guitar. You know what I mean? I love that. Those you'll do whatever it takes to get to that next level. But right now, as it stands, here in the moment, you're in rock and roll hell.
Yeah.
So, yes, same title, two different songs, two different meanings, but same ending.
Yeah.
You know, it's like where you're at sucks.
Yeah.
And you're always thinking that there's somewhere else that's better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or hoping there is, but just great song.
Yeah, fantastic.
That might have been the biggest revelation of this whole thing. Was like, wow, that's a really cool song.
Absolutely, and honestly, I do love the Kiss one, but this might be one of the first, maybe the first one. I can't remember already, but I think I might choose the original.
Really?
I think I might choose the original. I really like the BTO version.
I did too. The reason why Kiss beats it though is because it's less depressing, and I gotta be honest. The bass line.
That's true.
I don't think it's Gene on bass.
That's true.
But Eric Carr's drum track, like we heard it coming out of the chorus, and then just the intro, been on the fire.
This is so
16 years. It gives me Jukebox Hero vibes.
Yes, 100%.
You know, because Jukebox Hero is like at the star, you know, again,
Stars
it's like
in his eyes.
He's going to be a star.
Right.
You know, he's on his way to being a star. So this is almost like Jukebox Hero.
Yeah.
Part 2, Part 1, not sure which one came first, don't care, both great songs.
Yeah.
But, okay, for sure,
I'm with you, but I kind of like how depressing the BTO one is, honestly.
It's real.
It's real, and it's real, and it's raw, and his voice. Oh, that's something I forgot to mention. His voice on the chorus is, like, gut-wrenching.
He's, like, lamenting.
Oh, my gosh. Like, this does not feel like a rock song that was just written to be a cool rock song. Like it feels like really, really therapeutic and vulnerable, and I just really resonate with songwriting like that.
Yeah.
And I also enjoy a song that like you can jam to, but also like can really make you think as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give the edge to BTO on this one.
For sure. I think I'm gonna.
I assume you're going Kiss.
I think I'm gonna give mine to Kiss.
That's fair. It is very close.
I love the visual that Kiss's version gives me because I can imagine like a 16. Is it been on the fire 16 years? So I can imagine a 16-year-old kid, stealing a guitar from a guitar shop, when the guy's not looking. Runs like, hey kid, he runs on the street, whatever, and just, learns to play the guitar day and night, blistering fingers, bleeding, and just writing songs, and, busking rocker outside, trying to make as much money as he can to get the bus home. It's like you're just trying to do whatever it takes to survive. And so that one gives me a certain visual. Again,
I get
the
it.
music, but no, I gotta be honest, the BTO version smokes. I love it.
It did. That might be one of my favorite or probably is my favorite on this list as far as the originals. Yeah.
Right on. Well, let's get your thoughts on this one because this is one that you just heard for the first time as well, and that was "Thief in the Night."
Oh yeah.
By Wendigo Williams for her '84 album. So this was written by Gene and Mitch Weissman. I'm pretty sure Mitch Weissman also has some writing credits on Creatures. And this was a song that was written for Creatures or around that era and was rejected and then brought and given to Wendy in '84 for her album.
Right.
Which
Gene produced.
Along with It's My Life, which was also from Creatures and was also rejected. So she got some Kiss reject demos, but she got some features on her album. She got Gene, Paul,
and she killed him.
Eric, Ace, and they're all great songs.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, this will go on to be on the album Crazy Nights. So Kiss covered the song Wendy did that was written by Gene. So this one, again, is kind of a weird one because Wendy was the first one to record. Is it a cover because
it was written for Kiss by a Kiss member?
Yeah.
But
Kiss covered the song that was written for Kiss but rejected by Kiss and given to Wendy. So it's
if you think about it,
whatever you want.
Then we would, if we're going by that logic, then we would include Hide Your Heart, would we not?
Yeah. Sure. We can talk about it.
Yeah, because I didn't think about that, but it's the same kind of thing because it was written by a Kiss member for Kiss, rejected, covered by other artists, and then later on, years later.
I didn't put it on the list because I just did the 8mm film video talking about Hide Your Heart. So we kind of, a lot of Hide Your Heart. So, we can though because it is a really good song. But just I want to know what you thought about Wendy's version of Thief in the Night.
Yes, I really liked Wendy's version. I really she has such a cool, gravelly kind of voice.
Metal.
Yes.
It was like early 80s metal.
It is very, very good. I really liked her version. I think I had maybe heard it before because I feel like we've listened to a few of the songs from the album before.
I think I reviewed it as a Kiss Spotlight on this show before, and so maybe I showed it to you.
I think so, but it was a good refresher, and I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
I think I probably am going to have to still go with the Kiss one, though.
Yeah.
Just because it just sounds so good, and I love Crazy Nights, and I love the production on Crazy Nights.
Facts.
So, yeah, it's a great song.
I loved, again, the metal the metal sound of when it was huge.
Yeah.
And her vocals are, like I said, very gravelly. And it's funny because Gene's vocals on the Crazy Nights are very clean.
That's what I love about it. That's
slick.
What I love about it.
So it's funny how it's the same song, but one is way heavier.
Yeah.
And the other one is just more clean pop rock.
Right, which is so funny that
is Kiss.
The heavier Wendy. The heavier one is the female rock artist, and the lighter one is freaking Gene Simmons.
Right. Yeah, and it's just funny because they were doing more pop stuff.
Yeah,
well, he
was in that era of cleaner vocals. I adore Gene's clean vocals like
Hell or
that.
High Water? Are you kidding me? Good Girl Gone Bad? Let's go.
I'm pretty sure even at the end of Thief in the Night, isn't that where he goes really high up? There's a few songs that he does that, but where I think he hits some high notes in this song.
He might. There's most of them are on Asylum.
Yeah, like
Love's a Deadly Weapon, Secretly Cruel, and all that. But yeah,
right.
But maybe he does hit a high note on there. But
I think we underestimate Gene's vocals. As a community, just because we really do. He's usually, or a lot of times, singing in that more demon voice, but that's not
1/3 of his ability.
Yeah, maybe even less. He can do so much, and when he's not specifically putting on that character and that vibe, I love his vocals.
And I will say
especially in the 80s.
Yeah, totally. And that's one reason why I do like his solo album because and he could have done the whole Got Thunder thing the whole time, but he did, we get songs like See You Tonight, Mr. Make Believe. Right. You see that
but
clean
there's a
side.
mix, so it's weird.
Yeah. But now here around 87, where, they're just doing the more pop, rock thing, so you have a clear song. Now, I will say that one of the things that, again, I'm going to go with Kiss as well, but not for the reason that you think. Because the reason that I think puts Kiss's version above Wendy is having Bruce Kulick on guitar.
Ooh, for sure.
Because in Thief of the Night, there's a lot of times where Bruce will introduce these cool harmonics, these bends, these really sick guitar leads that you don't get in Wendy's version.
Gosh, I love Bruce Kulick.
And Wendy's version is great because it is straight ahead, very simple. But with Kisses, you have, I mean, it's crazy how just adding in someone like Bruce Kulick takes a song up a level, because his guitar, when I'm hearing Wendy's version, I want to hear his really cool bends and harmonics that he puts underneath the vocals.
Yes.
You don't hear it. And it's like, it's that right there, that musicianship.
I was going to say, that just shows you, that's an incredible musician right there. Somebody that elevates music
Bruce
like that.
Took that song.
That's the epitome of Bruce Kulick.
It couldn't have happened on Creatures. It couldn't have happened on Wendy's.
It wouldn't have been as good.
It could have only happened with Bruce on Crazy Nights.
Yeah. So, well, and that makes me happy that it did get rejected from Creatures initially, because it happened for Kiss when it needed to happen, when they had Bruce. True. And it's so good. I love Crazy Nights.
So let's do a quick Hide Your Heart, because I don't know how many versions you've even heard. Have you heard Ace's version?
Yes.
You have heard Ace's
I've heard
version?
Ace's version. You showed me recently Bonnie Tyler's version.
Yes.
Which I did not know was a thing, so that was fun.
And
when you were making that video.
Her before that.
Yeah, of course. Total Eclipse of the Heart? Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I knew the name, but not
I'm not, like, super familiar with her outside of that song, to be honest. That's just the big hit, but I love that song.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to hear.
And it was a great version, too.
Yeah.
Because her version, you can hear the same things that were happening in Kiss's version.
Yeah.
So Paul's demo,
I guarantee
that just goes to show you
it
was pretty strong.
Yeah.
And it had all the, kind of like Gerard McMahon's of Is That You? You know, all of it's there. It's just, somebody take it and put your stamp on it, you know? But maybe it's time to go back and listen to Molly Hatchet's and Ace's, and we'll have to do that.
Yeah, this one's harder because there's so many people that recorded it to compare, but honestly, it doesn't matter who I'm comparing it to. I'm always going to pick the Kiss one.
It's Paul Stanley. It's a Paul song, man.
It is, and it's also, like...
unabashedly Paul Stanley.
I think I've mentioned this before, but, like, over the last couple of years, that this song, Hide Your Heart, has really...
It's grown
and gone higher up my list of favorites.
It's truly...
It's so good.
It truly is awesome.
Yeah, what's next?
But the next one we had was God Could Rock and Roll to You. So this goes back to Argent. We talked about Argent earlier, having Russ Ballard writing New York Groove for or with Hello. But yeah, so Russ Ballard would have written and recorded this with Argent in 1971.
Okay.
And was released in 1973.
Oh, okay.
And this was a hit for them too, actually. It was a number 18 hit in the UK. For Kiss, it was even bigger. It was a number 4 hit in the UK.
Oh, wow.
So Kiss actually got a bigger hit.
That's great.
In the same country that the original artist released it in. So
that
was kind of cool.
A lot bigger time gap, though, in between
these two.
Than the ones we were talking about earlier.
92. Absolutely. And it was also a hit in the US. It was number 21 in the US. Okay. So this was just a hit overall for Kiss, which was good. Of course, it was the last song to feature Eric Carr. It was the first to feature Eric Singer.
Wow. Yeah.
How poetic is that? You have Eric Carr's vocals for the last time.
Yeah.
Just
perfect
absolutely
song for it, too.
Magical. Yeah. And this was also the first Kiss song, or first Kiss song or first Kiss single to feature Gene and Paul doing Trading Back lead vocals.
Really?
Since on The Elder.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So after The Elder, Gene and Paul...
They just didn't do that anymore.
They were always writing separately.
Which is a damn shame. Because
how many songs would sound so good?
And I love, some of my favorite songs are when we get either harmonies or just back and forth vocals.
Let me know. Kissin Time. We met those earlier, It's like, I love it when Gene and Paul stand.
Yes.
Take Me Down Below. Yeah. Love those songs.
Yeah.
When Gene and Paul. Spit is a good one.
Also,
oh my same gosh. Album.
Yeah.
Same album.
That's true. They really came back to it for Revenge.
Yeah, they really did.
I like that.
I think because in the 80s they weren't together.
No.
It was Paul leading and then Gene just doing whatever he was doing and then kind of popping in when he needed to.
Right.
And just being there on tour. It was really Paul doing most of the work.
Absolutely.
So finally in 92 you have probably Bob Ezrin and, Larry Mazer, the manager, kind of, maybe getting them back together a little bit. But yeah, so finally you have a song where Gene and Paul are singing lead vocals. And, I mean, I gotta be honest. It's not just because of that, Gene and Paul on lead vocals, but the song itself is much better.
It's way better.
Not the Argent's version isn't, but there's something more crafty and artistic about Kiss's version.
Yeah.
There's something more... I wish I could compositional.
Yes.
That makes Kisses just elevated.
And it builds. I feel we were listening to
the key change?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. But we were listening to the Argent one, and it is good. It's still a great song. But it's kind of like monotonous and kind of stays the same throughout the song, which I don't love. And the Kiss one even just the way it starts out, like so small.
Quiet.
No. Like just that. And then it builds throughout the song, and then like you said, it has the key change, like it gets so big at the end. I love that.
Yeah, Kisses, they rock that
It
one.
is fantastic. And this is another example of one that they largely rewrote.
Yeah.
And I like that this time they chose to call it something different. They put 2 at the end.
The number 2.
Yeah, the Roman numeral 2. So I like that they did that to kind of tell you ahead of time that it is different than the original. Some of the lyrics are the same. Like the second or third verse is the same, but
Never took the word 9 to 5. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But everything all the verses before that, I feel like were different, weren't they?
Most of the song has been rewritten. The chorus obviously is the same.
Yeah.
Some of the lines are the same, but for the most part, Gene and Paul just rewrote it.
Yeah, and I feel like their lyrics are a lot stronger.
It's a lot better.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with Kiss on this one.
Yeah, me too. Great video. It was the last video to feature Eric Carr.
Yep.
Them playing in a warehouse full of stomping around in the rain and the water flood the warehouse. You have flashbacks of clips from the 70s era of Kiss, so that was just a really special video.
Yeah, it's a special song.
It's a special song.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. We've been given a gift. We've been given a road, and that road's name is rock and roll. Yeah, that whole thing is just great, and it went over so well live.
And it has an extra layer of specialness, I guess, because it is the song that they would play after concerts, at least.
Right, yes.
Concerts that I went to.
When the lights went on, yeah.
Yes, just right after, that's what you hear as you're filing out, collecting confetti and all that stuff.
Those were great memories.
I know, so it does...
Sifting through the confetti.
It does hold, like, an extra special place in my heart because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This next one, though, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on, because this one's kind of a different one, too, that kind of hides your heart. Okay. And some of the ones that, like, don't count, but we're still going to count them anyway.
Right.
So Nothing Can Keep Me From You.
Okay.
Was written by Diane Warren, but recorded by Paul and Kiss.
Yeah.
Paul under the name of Kiss.
I don't count that as a cover.
So this one isn't really a cover. It was just, again, a song that was written by somebody else. Yeah. Kind of like Is That You? It was never officially recorded by Gerard Rivera. It was just written.
Well, and Diane Warren is, like... a songwriter that writes for big artists. So I don't know if I would necessarily count it as a cover, but it's a great freaking song.
But you like the song.
I love the song.
Most Kiss fans would say this is the least best Kiss song ever. Probably the worst Kiss song ever. This one, Read My Body, and Stand, and maybe a couple other ones. But this one, I guess, is one of the worst songs ever. But I don't hate it. I just wish it was a little more original. Yeah. It feels like, again, ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough.
It's nothing new. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but I think it's a great song.
But still.
And I'm just a sucker for any Paul Stanley ballad. I can't say no. Yeah. I can't say no.
My overarching issue with it is that it was released as a single, first of all.
Yeah.
And it was released as part of the Detroit Rock City movie soundtrack.
Right.
But it wasn't used in the movie at all. You might hear You might hear it in the credits.
That's so weird.
But the song has no real place in the movie. It made no real sense to release it as a single.
Yeah.
And it was released after Psycho Circus, so releasing a ballad doesn't make any sense.
I get it.
Were they trying to recreate the success of Forever, Beth? What were they going for? I don't know. But if you're making a movie called Detroit Rock City about Kiss in the 70s, and it's a hard rock movie, it's a hard rock film, write a hard rock song and have it be placed well in the movie. Use it for marketing. That will help the movie, the soundtrack, the single, everything. But this song, marketing-wise, has no place in the picture at all.
I was going to say, and even if you had a slower ballad that you're writing for it, put it in the movie in a place that matters.
See, they had the lovemaking scene between Beth and Jam in the confessionary, which was they used Beth, which makes sense. Her name is Beth.
Her name is Beth, but like...
But use it in a way like that where it makes sense in the context of the movie.
Story.
But they didn't. It might be in the credits.
Yeah.
Which no one's watching the credits.
Right.
So it was just a nothing song that was used in a nothing way.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
That's a bummer because I do think it's a good song. I think if it had come at a different time, people would have liked it better.
And I just don't know who's even on it because obviously Paul singing. There's no way it's Peter playing drums.
Yeah.
It's probably Kevin Valentine. I don't see Ace playing guitar, maybe Tommy.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's under the name Kiss, but it's one of those songs that kind of like, again, 2000 Man or some other songs like Sure on Something, they don't actually feature anybody from Kiss. Maybe
Right.
Like one or two members, you know what I mean? So it's one of those weird things. I don't know.
His vocals are just so good, though. I'm sorry. Like, I know it's kind of a cliche song, and it's nothing really special as far as the songwriting goes, but even just the final, like, third of that song, where he's just going crazy on the vocals. No mountain, no ocean. That's so good.
Yeah, he is letting her eat, which is nice.
I will always love it because of Paul's vocals. In this case, we can't really pick one because there is only that one.
True. Yeah, right. So, that was more of like just an add-on to the list.
Yeah.
But this one I think is the Lost cover. This is the Lost cover.
Okay.
So in 2002, there was a Ramones tribute album released called "We're a Happy Family."
Yes.
And Kiss did a cover of the song "Do You Remember Rock and Roll Radio?" And when did I hear this? Because I was for sure thinking this was fake. Like, I saw a YouTube video and thought somebody made this or did this, but there's no way. And then when I actually saw a picture of the album with Kiss on it, and it was official, I was like, okay, boom, there you go.
It actually happened.
But this one I feel like, just went under the radar. Again, kind of the last one. It was in that weird late 90s, early 2000s period where it's like, is there even going to be a Kiss?
Right.
Who's in Kiss? And it was just like, it just happened, you know what I mean? So I don't even know how many fans have actually heard this. Do they love it? Do they hate it?
I had no idea this was a thing.
Yeah,
until days ago.
Yeah, this was your first time hearing it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I gotta be honest, I love this.
It's fun.
This version is so cool and so much fun. The Ramones are an okay band, not really into punk, but that song I really don't care for. I wonder if Kiss was given this song or if they chose this song.
That's a good question.
I don't really know, but either way, this is one more Kiss cover that we can say they knocked it out of the park.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Love this version.
Yeah, the original is okay. Like you said, I'm not really a big Ramones fan either. I mean, I respect them and their importance.
Iconic, absolutely.
Yeah, in music history, absolutely. But not really my vibe. But the Kiss one is really, really good. And it was the perfect choice for them, whoever chose it, whether it was them or whoever was putting the album together. But it was super fun.
And it's a fun one that you have Gene and Paul going back and forth on.
Yeah.
It's another dual vocal between Gene and Paul.
Yep.
Which I love because, again, it's
one of those songs that's like about rock and roll. So it's like perfect.
Rock and roll,
that's
yes.
so good.
And I love the lyrics. It's the end of the 70s. It's the end of the century. Such a fun song. But Kiss definitely smoked it. But what I want to know is who is playing on the song.
Yeah.
Again, it's under the name Kiss. You have Gene and Paul clearly.
But it's
There's
at a weird
no
time.
way it's Peter Criss.
No.
Because he wasn't in the band. So it's got to be Eric Singer. But was it Ace? There's no way it was Ace because he was on his way out of the band. Was it Tommy? Maybe. Is there even any lead in there at all? All I could find was that this is just Gene, Paul, and Eric. Maybe some extra work, some extra keyboard work from this guy.
Right.
Some extra production from this guy. But as far as drums, guitar, vocals, it's just Gene, Paul, and Eric, which is kind of weird to me. But I guess it does make sense because I can't.
So it's just Paul alone on guitar. Okay.
It must be either that or he did some extra work, but I don't think there's any blistering solo.
No, it's not like they ever did it live.
There's
so
nothing
there's no reason
like,
you can't layer.
Nothing to me screams Ace because Ace is like overdubbing leads and his
I
bands
feel like
are so iconic.
We'd be able to tell.
If it was Tommy, you'd be like, okay, I hear extra lead. You know, it wouldn't be Bruce, obviously. So I'm just like. It's under the name Kiss, but who actually is
so
Kiss in this case? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gene and Paul, I know, knocked it out of the park. It's a fun song, so that's all I care about. And they did the song justice.
Yes, and they did it. Yeah.
And
I'm going with Kiss for sure.
And that's the theme throughout here is that like we can talk about this artist really didn't cover Kiss that well, but it's like Kiss covers every artist really well.
Agreed.
And we're going to get to the last one right here,
My favorite.
which is your favorite. So go ahead, Daphne, talk about it. Go ahead.
I'm assuming the last one is Venus and Mars / Rock Show.
Bingo.
By Paul McCartney and the Wings.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I love this one. And we We talked about this recently.
This was on episode. This was our album closer on episode 100.
Yes.
Our quote unquote new Kiss album.
That's why we've talked about it recently.
Made. Yes.
Yes.
So this is what we've also talked about, but it's still a really good song.
It's so
You're
good.
a huge Paul fan.
I mean, I love Paul McCartney. I love the Wings, and I love this song and this album. The Venus and Mars album is one of my favorite Wings albums. In fact, when we did that, it got me on a Wings kick, and I was like listening to that album on repeat at that time.
Facts.
But it's such a great song. But Gene and Paul, are they under the name Kiss for this as well?
So it really depends because it was marketed as Kiss. But I'm pretty sure on Spotify it does say Paul Stanley Gene Simmons.
I feel like I looked at my physical album of Art of...
And it says
it's
Kiss.
from... We didn't say this, but it's from Art of McCartney, which is a Paul McCartney tribute album.
Yes.
A very long Paul McCartney tribute album.
2 discs, 40 songs.
Yes, so many artists.
So many artists covering so many Paul McCartney and Wings songs.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
but
and
they had,
Beatles, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure when they marketed it, it was Kiss. And I'm pretty sure that on the album it says Kiss.
It probably does.
But I think if you go on Spotify, it actually corrected it and said
we're
Paul
being
Gene.
real, it's just Gene and Paul.
Because
there's a reason this time, though, and we know why.
Why? Go ahead.
Well, because this is not one where we're questioning who's on it. The Art of McCartney album, nobody was using their band. Nobody was. It's such a cohesive album that whoever was putting it together, I'm pretty sure it was Paul's band, right?
It was Paul's drummer and Paul's guitar player.
Paul McCartney's band that
his longtime band
has used on tour and on his albums for years and still does to this day.
Bingo.
It's them with these artists in the studio, and a lot of the artists on the album are solo artists anyway, so it makes a lot of sense. But even the bands,
right.
In this one, it's just Gene and Paul on vocals, and then Paul's band backing him. Which I kind of understand because it's a very cohesive album. It all production-wise,
it makes perfect
sense.
Even
Production-wise,
if we
it all
agree
sounds similar.
that Eric and Tommy would have smoked.
Of course they would. Oh, it would have.
They would have chewed it up.
I do wish we had that version.
Are you kidding? Eric Singer would have knocked the balls off that. He would unabashedly do.
He would have. But I do respect it because one of the things we talked about when we were reviewing "Kiss My Ass" is how absolutely disjointed that compilation
Great word,
is.
disjointed.
Oh my gosh, it's like each song is jarring for its own reasons because they're so different.
It's hodgepodge.
And they sound so different. Whereas the way they did Art of McCartney, even though it is a lot of different vocalists, it sounds cohesive and it sounds like it goes together. So I respect that choice.
Yeah. And this was one that Gene and Paul did choose.
They did?
They
okay.
got to choose
I love
this,
that.
and they chose
what a great choice.
This one particularly.
I want to know if they had any other contenders. I'm so curious.
I don't know.
I would love to have heard that discussion.
Me too.
I want to hear Gene and Paul just talk about Paul McCartney songs.
For real. But it was really cool that they got to choose this song, and they recorded the vocals in 2010 on the Hottest Show on Earth tour. This was before Paul's surgery. This album had been in the making for years.
Okay, I was going to say, because when did it come out?
2014.
That's what I thought. I thought 13 or 14.
It was out in 2014, but it had been worked on for about 5 or 6 years.
Okay, cool.
It took to get all the artists
involved. There are a ton of artists.
To record their parts. And, so Kiss had theirs in the bag ready to go for 4 years. But this was before Paul's vocal surgery. Okay. This is before Monster.
Wow.
I mean, they were probably recording Monster. Maybe. I don't know. That's crazy. It was after Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
Hottest Show on Earth tour, right around there. It's crazy.
Cool.
But,
interesting.
Again, another Gene and Paul back and forth. Some of the best stuff happens when Gene and Paul go back and forth. I love that stuff.
Good. And again, it's about rock and roll.
It's about rock and roll.
Dude, a lot of their back and forth
God gave
songs
rock and
have
roll
a theme.
to you. Do you remember Rock and Roll Radio?
Yes.
Venus and Mars rock show.
So good.
That's such a good Rock and Roll Hell. They didn't really go back and forth on that, but it was a cover.
Yeah.
Still a cover.
That is awesome.
Totally awesome.
I assume you're going to choose the Kiss one on this?
This one is hard because the original Wings version is so iconic. This one's tough, man.
I mean, I feel like you have to be biased, and so do I, and that's fine. You can pick Kiss, and I'll pick Paul.
I do like
because I love Kiss's version.
Gene really surprised me with his vocals because he sings Venus and Mars, and then Paul sings Rock Show.
Yep.
And on the album, you said that there are 2 different tracks, whereas when Kiss did it, when Paul McCartney or Art McCartney did it, it was one track.
They combined it, yeah. Because they do flow into each other on the Venus and Mars album, and Venus and Mars itself is such a short song that it makes sense to tack them on together. And they kind of go together.
And Gene just really surprised me with his, because I can tell that he took his time and did take after take after take after take to get it right.
His vocals are beautiful.
Because I know that both of those guys love Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
You know, they like Paul McCartney like I like Kiss. You know
right.
what I mean? And so probably, you know, they consider it to be like that important.
Absolutely.
So I can tell that Gene just really, because when I listen to him sing, I can tell that he's in there like damn near sweating, eyes closed, wanting to get it right.
Yeah.
And when he nails it, he nails it.
It's
and
so good.
his harmonies with it's brilliant.
It's fantastic.
I'm proud of him. Paul just absolutely nails it. I love it. Mademoiselle Kitty.
I know.
His vocals are so.
Yes,
iconic.
I love when
it's Paul Stanley.
I love when he does that spoken part that Paul McCartney does. That's
in
so
my
good.
green metal suit, I'm preparing to shoot up the city. And then Gene in the background. Yeah. I love that.
It's so funny because even though I've heard theirs so many times, and I do listen to it. I'm still so used to the Wings version that I always am saying that part in a British accent.
Right. I think one reason why I may go with Gene and Paul's is because it does have Gene and Paul back and forth.
Yeah.
And when you get to the part where it's like getting Gene's like in the background, and then he does the oi.
Yep.
So because I was kind of sad that Gene was only there in the beginning.
Right.
Because by the end of Rock Show, you kind of forget about it.
It's been so long.
It's been so long, and it was so short and so quick, and you don't ever hear Gene come back until those small
little
parts.
Cameos,
so I like those small parts in there. I wish there were more. I kind of wish that it would have been allowed to have Gene on the chorus with Paul singing, even if Paul did all the verses, all the spoken word fun stuff. But it is a very fun song either way.
Yeah,
and so I think maybe it's a little bit more fun than the original one. I'm gonna go with that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think even if they had, even just at the end, like in the final chorus or something, if we got some harmonizing vocals, that would have been really cool. Like I said, I adore the Kiss version, and I do listen to it pretty frequently. But as a Beatles Paul McCartney fan at heart, I'm gonna have to choose. I'm gonna have to choose the Wings one.
Absolutely, and that's the fun of this, is that we all get to decide, like what we want and what we think. And so now that we've reached the end of our 15, again, we want to know what you guys think about all these different songs. Which were the ones that you didn't know were covers?
Yeah.
Because again, I mean, growing up as a younger Kiss fan, we're constantly learning all these different things and piecing the puzzle together. And so maybe, you are still as well. And so thank you guys for joining us on another fun episode. I do want to get to a Collector's Corner.
Yes.
We have a unconventional Collector's Corner this time. So usually I'm showing new Kiss merch that I've bought. And I have a question for you real quick. Is the charger for the laptop in here? If not, it's fine. I think we'll make it, but...
I do not believe it is.
Okay, that's fine. I think we should be okay, but if we scramble for a minute, you guys just bear with us. But no, we have a... kind of a different, unconventional Collector's Corner today. So usually I'm showing Kiss merch that I've bought. Well, today I'm going to be showing something else. So let me go ahead and get the Kiss knife, because I'm definitely need the Kiss knife for this.
Okay. If I know what this is, I've already forgotten.
You definitely know what this is?
Okay.
Because
that's the fun part, is I always forget.
The box is sitting right here, so I'm assuming you just can't see it.
I can't see it.
For sure. Because we just got a big old box of Moneybag Soda.
Oh, yes.
And they always send us those. I got a million of those. But yes, so we just got a fresh box of Moneybag Soda, which is great because this one is literally the last one in the fridge.
Yeah, it's lucky I didn't want one today because I couldn't have had one anyway.
Yeah, it came at a perfect time. So we just got a full box of Moneybag Soda. There's some root beer right there.
That's
right. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and just show the box. Because if you're not drinking Moneybag Soda, I don't know what you're doing.
What are you
because
doing?
It is the most amazing soda ever.
You can go to
their website and have it shipped directly to you.
Well, they always have some kind of deal going on, don't they?
Sometimes
if you buy a certain amount?
Sometimes they do. And the deal, because it's summertime, the deal right now is if you buy a 16 or 4 packs of 4, you get a free koozie.
Oh, cute.
These are brand new. So this was kind of the selling point for me because I was like...
You're like, I need that.
I need some money back to drink, but I also kind of want that koozie, though. So
you're like, I also don't want to drive to go get it.
I don't want to drive to go get it this time, so I'll have them just bring it to me.
That's
but no,
great. It's got Gene on the bottom.
That's dope.
That's so good. And then the Moneybag logo on both sides.
But
love that.
we got cola,
Nice.
root beer, cream soda, and blood orange.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
I think we did. I'm really excited for blood orange. I haven't had it in so long.
The blood orange I haven't had since probably Rosemont.
It's probably my favorite.
That was fire.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was really cool. I wanted to show this, guys. So yeah, we have a big thing of Moneybag soda and the new koozie, which I love. Maybe I'll go ahead and just use it right now.
Oh yeah.
Even though this is obviously not like too cold.
That's
oh
perfect.
yes, that is slick.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
We gotta get sponsored, man. I'm trying to get sponsored. But
hit us up.
That is super cool. So there you guys go. There's part 1. Let's get to part 2.
Okay.
Because now this
I don't know about.
This you don't know. This you kind of do, but you don't know officially. So this I actually made myself. This is a T-shirt that I made myself. And
I definitely don't know about this.
Okay, well, are you ready for this?
I'm scared, but yeah.
Don't be scared, dude. It's awesome.
No way! Oh my gosh! Yes!
Look at this. Look at this.
Are you wearing this to
Yes.
Steve-O? Oh.
So this says, I heart Steve-O. You guys might know Steve-O from Jackass. He just had Gene on his podcast. Well, he's going to be coming to our neck of the woods. Same place we saw Ace.
Yes.
Earlier this year. Steve-O is going to be performing his stand-up multimedia comedy show in Brown County, Indiana on August 18th. And I've got 4th row tickets. Same spot where we saw Ace, which was super close.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? I'm going to make this T-shirt.
And it's got the
and it
demon
has
makeup.
Yeah, so it has the demon on the skull for the Jackass logo. And then on the back, it has a picture from when Steve-O dressed up as Gene Simmons for Halloween.
That is too cute.
A long time ago.
Aww.
And so I'm hoping that he sees this. I've been a huge fan of Jackass, like I've been of Kiss.
Yeah.
You know, I heard my first Kiss album in '98, watched my first Jackass movie in '01, and it's just been Kiss and Jackass. You know what I mean? That was my whole childhood.
Great.
I know it sounds stupid, but the fact that Steve-O is actually going to be...
That turned out so good.
It turned out really well. And so I'm hoping that he sees it and sees me and acknowledges it. I'm going to go ahead and put it on right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Because... I can already tell that it's actually really soft.
I was going to say,
so
it looks
glad.
nice.
I bought it as a large. I'm thinking I probably could have got away with a medium.
We'll wash
it.
We'll wash it. It'll probably shrink.
But let's check this out. So, I heart Steve-O.
Yeah, that
looks great.
That's amazing.
I love it. And it looks so cool. I made it as big as it can be so he can see it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Helvetica and everything. And then I got to be careful because I got a bunch of Kiss stuff in this room. I'm going to knock it all down. But does the back look cool?
Oh, yes. That's amazing.
Sweet.
That's such a good print.
Love it.
That's like high quality. I love it.
Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was from uberprints.com. If you guys want to make your own t-shirts and...
What was it called?
uberprints.com.
Okay. I don't think I've heard of that.
This cost about $30, so it's, not
the cheapest.
Not expensive, but not cheap. It is super high quality, very soft shirt. No burlap sacks over here. High quality graphics. I can tell that this is screen printed. It is not an iron-on. It's going to come off in 2 washes.
Right.
So that's just my quick review of. Never used them before. Prints. Never used them before.
So far, so good.
I like this, but yeah. So I'm wearing this to the Steve-O show.
That's amazing. I love it.
And we also got tickets to see Mini Kiss.
Yes, that's pretty soon.
So check us out. So on August 30th, we're going to be seeing Mini Kiss in Indianapolis. And if you guys are in the area, you want to meet us, or come see the show, you guys should do it.
Come up to us.
I would love to see some Kiss fans. I've been talking all year how I want to go see a Kiss tribute band.
Yeah.
This is our first one. This is it. Never seen Mini Kiss before. I can think back to when Mini Kiss was on Z-Rock.
Yes.
And the Super Bowl commercial. So that's really cool. Can't wait to see them. We'll be sure to review that for you guys, take some photos. But that's kind of funny how we're doing the Kiss tribute summer. And we're going to go see a Kiss tribute band.
I didn't think about that.
That actually fits in with the theme.
It completes Kiss tribute summer.
That completes.
I love it.
I like that. That's really cool.
That's good stuff.
Sweet. Well, I think the last thing is Kiss Merch of the Year?
Yes.
And that's pretty much it. This is episode 107, so how about something from 07? Okay. We're getting into something fun now. This is one of those small items that means a lot.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm excited.
Let me find it. Crap. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, for sure. So this is a drumstick pin.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Just very simple, very stupid Kiss merch, right? Just a drumstick
pen. The best
pen.
kind of Kiss merch.
The best kind of... I love the random Kiss stuff. That's what
Simple and stupid.
Simple and stupid. I love the random Kiss stuff. So, let me see. This actually says 06.
Oh, no.
So, there was a version that came out in 07, but this is actually 06. So...
I need to rethink this.
I may need to rethink this. What do I have from 07 now? 07. Bummer. I did not think this through because when
I'm looking around like I would know
I did
what's
my
from
research.
07.
This said 06. That's 09.
Maybe they came out in 07, but the copyright's 06?
Holy crap. I just found this right here randomly. 07. So we're going to go with this. Well, anyway, I wanted to choose it. I could have sworn it was 07 because I can think back to 7th grade using this in English class. To write my essays with. I actually use this. I don't even think it writes anymore because I actually would, in school.
That's so cute.
You couldn't wait to use this.
Yeah.
Got it for Christmas from the Kiss catalog from Peter Arquette. So it was one, I just could not wait to have simple, cheap, cool, usable, practical, but still really wild out there, really Kiss. Drumstick pen. But I guess it's not 07 after all. So what I will show is this keychain.
Hey,
how cool.
So cool.
No, but I think we got this from a local record store. They have some Kiss stuff every now and again, and I'll pick one up. So the last one I picked up I actually used, and it ended up falling apart after a while, so I bought another one. Apart, so. Yeah, it's always that metal part right there.
Yep.
The metal part always separates and the keychain always flies off. But I did buy another one just to kind of keep and have.
Yeah.
It is really cool.
It is cool.
It's got the Rock and Roll Over Saw blade.
Yep.
It actually looks like, I believe, the cover of the Reunion tour books.
Okay.
Had the black Kiss logo with the saw blade graphic and those little like screws on the side.
Yeah.
So maybe
like
it was just maybe it was just more reminiscent of that. But yeah, very cool, very simple, very cheap. 07. Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so I'm not sure how I thought that one. The other thing was 07, but anyway, there you go. At least it worked out, right?
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I'll tell you what, that's going to close it for this episode. Next week's video is not going to be an episode. It's going to be a short form video. I'm going to be talking about the 40th anniversary tour.
Oh, okay.
I have just been going through some pictures, some video, my memories, and I thought, you know what, I want to do. It's been 10 years since I saw the show on that tour, Jeb and I, and so I thought I want to do a video about that. So that's what you guys can expect from us next time. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for joining us, talking about Kiss. Thanks for joining us on our Kiss Tribute Summer.
Yes.
This has been a lot different for us, talking about Kiss tribute albums, tribute songs, and thought, you know what, let's do all the songs that Kiss has covered.
It just kind of happened organically, too.
It really did, and it was kind of fun going back and listening to some of those old songs. So again, in the comments, let us know what your guys' favorites were. What were some of the ones that kind of threw you off as far as, Kiss covered this, or this is a cover? Whatever it was, we want to know what you guys think. And be sure to subscribe also to our Patreon and our, of course, our YouTube channel. We almost have 3,000 subscribers.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
That's amazing.
For some people, 3K is nothing. They got millions of subscribers, millions of followers. Every one of them is just another one. But for us, 3,000's
That's a lot.
Unheard of. Never thought it'd ever happen. So thank you to every single person who watches the show, watches the channel, has subscribed. It really does help when you subscribe. It just lets us know that what we're doing is good, that you guys like it. Every time you guys comment, it just keeps the conversation going. So we're thankful for you guys. Thank you so much. And so we'll see you in next week's video, followed by another episode, which will be episode 108. But for now, this is episode 107. My name is Xander.
My name is Daphne.
You guys have a great day. Have a great summer. Peace out and rock on.